Same as usual, working at your own pace, making sure that nothing is causing pain or discomfort, as in joint pain. Muscular discomfort, entirely up to you. If you need to stop and have a little stretch, stop and stretch. If you can keep it going for as long as you can. Use your props. I'm going to get a band or a strap. And then the ball, if I've got one, or a cushion, a pillow to use instead. If you're lying down, using the mat to help realign the spine, allowing the shoulders to relax onto the mat, the arms to come down the side, palms to turn to face up to the ceiling, encouraging the front of the chest to open up, the collarbones to lengthen, the throat to relax. The legs can be bent or straight, whatever feels more comfortable for your hips and lower back. If you're sitting, trying to find that seated position that allows you to sit straight, to sit lifted enough to create space at the front so that your diaphragm, your breathing muscles is able to move up and down to encourage the breath or to create that breath. So feeling the belly raising with the inhalation and then falling with the exhalation. Especially if you feel that the breath is up at the top, so I can feel it up into the top of my chest, into the collarbones, into my neck. See if you can try and guide it down towards the belly. So softening the throat, relaxing the front of the chest and the front of the neck. And then see if I can try and bring myself into nice, relaxed, diaphragmatic breathing. Just a nice, relaxed breathing. And then running a quick scan over the body, noticing the pressure. If I'm seated, trying to feel the pressure under the seat bones. Is it the same pressure right and left side? Is one side loading more weight than the other? Am I straight? Am I twisted? Is my head centered? Is it slightly off to one side? If you're laying down, feeling the pressure at the back of the body, comparing the pressure at the back of the shoulders, at the back of the hips, comparing the position of the arms, the head, and the legs. Not because I'm trying to change anything, but just trying to feel where the body is and how you feel to begin with. And then as you feel that the body feels a little bit more settled, the breath feels a little bit more relaxed, I'm going to start focusing on the arms and focusing on the shoulder girdle. I'm going to start rolling the shoulders round. So I'm going to go round into little circles. If I'm lying down, I'm a little bit restricted for space, and so the movement can only get so big before the shoulders kind of like start rubbing against the mat. If I'm seated, I can go for a nice big movement as I've got plenty of space around me. There will be all sorts of scrunching and clicking noises as the shoulders go round. Just make sure that with the noise that there is no pain. If there is pain, I'm going to ease off on the size of the circle, making sure that I'm still creating some movement, but without causing any pain in the joints. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and easing back, releasing the shoulders, changing the direction of the movement slightly. I'm going to see if I can get into a forward roll. So I'm going to try and bring the shoulders up to the head. I'm going to pull them forward and then round to the front and down. It's encouraging a little flexion into the upper back, some movement into the thoracic spine. If you're laying down, just feel the neck. If I feel that the neck feels tight as the shoulders go round, I might decide to hold the head up and then see if I can keep it off the mat as the shoulders are going round and round into the circle. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back, relaxing the shoulders. It's a little bit more movement through the shoulder girdle. I'm going to try and focus on an up and down. So I'm going to start going into shoulder shrugs. So I'm going to pull the shoulders up to the head, and then I'm going to press them down and away. I'm going to pull them up, and then I'm going to press them down. So think of the shoulder blades as sliding up and down the back of the rib cage. Comparing the right with the left side, I might find that one side moves a little bit better, one side feels a bit stickier than the other. See if I can focus on the stiffer side, trying to encourage a better movement on that side. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then coming back to the middle, keeping the shoulders depressed, so keeping them away from the head, away from your ears. And then I'm going to start going into a little protraction, retraction. So I'm going to pull the shoulders as far forward as I can. Imagine it possible to get your shoulders to touch at the front. And then I'm going to squeeze them together as far back as I can. Imagine touching them at the back. So I'm going to protract them and then retract them. If you're laying down, same as before, I'm a little bit limited for space, but I can still get into the little protraction. I can still get into the little retraction, encouraging the lift through the chest. There's a nice extension into the upper back. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And releasing back, adjusting the shoulders, relaxing through the shoulder girdle. And then I'm going to start working into the shoulder joint. Starting with the front raise, I'm going to go into a single arm. So I'm going to start taking one arm up to the front. I'm going to take it as far up, as far back as I can. And then returning the arm back by the side, I'm going to try the same thing with the other arm. As I'm moving single arm, if I know that there is a little bit of a restriction on one shoulder or a little bit of a pain on one shoulder, on that side the movement will be smaller. On the other side, I'll go for a nice big movement as I'm working the two arms separately. I'm working them in isolation, especially if you're seated, as the arms are, as the arm is lifting against the gravity, so it feels heavier. Make sure that as the arm comes up, the shoulder doesn't shrug. So I'm not stiffening through the shoulder, stiffening through the neck. I'm trying to create a nice, easy, loose lift. So little lift, a big lift, it doesn't matter. Just making sure that I'm not causing tension up at the top of the body and into the neck. If you're lying down, think of your ribcage staying soft, just making sure that the ribcage is not bobbing up and down as the arm is moving. It's just a picture in the arm moving into the shoulder socket to see if I can get movement into the shoulder joint. 3, 2, 1. Easing the arms back to the middle, and then I'm going to change the direction of the arms. So this time, instead of a front raise, I'm going to go into a lateral raise. So I'm going to start opening the right arm out to the side, bringing it towards the head, and then taking it back to the starting position. And with the left, I'm going to do the same, and then coming back. See if you can keep the swing as wide as possible. So if you're lying down, think of the arms staying fairly close to the floor, unless you feel that there is pain in the shoulder. If I feel that it's too painful for my shoulder, then I'm just going to allow the arm to lift away from the floor. So I'm just going to find the position that works for the shoulder, that is not creating pain, is not creating discomfort. Same if I'm seated, if possible, I'm going to try and bring the arm up around the side. If I find that that's too much, I'm just going to allow the arms to swing slightly forward to the body line. So smooth movement into the right shoulder and a nice, smooth, easy movement into that left too. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, and releasing back, relaxing the arms, just a little bit more movement into the shoulder joint. I'm going to see if I can start mixing the movement together. So this time, instead of isolating just to the front or to the side, I'm going to see if I can start moving into circles. So I'm going to reach the right arm straight in front of me, and then imagine to have pencils instead of fingers. I'm going to start drawing circles in front of me. I'm going to start with a little circle, and then progressively I'm going to see if I can make the circle a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger. So if you're seated, take advantage of the space to see if you can really try to get not just into the shoulder, but also into the back, adding a nice rotation through. If you're lying down, I can still get into a nice easy rotation, especially as I start bringing the circle across to the other side, and then I'm going to open it up again. So nice, smooth circle. It's more likely that the shoulder will start clicking at some point. So whenever you get to the point where the shoulder starts clicking, it's going to be clicking, just pause it slightly, play with the position of the arm, of the hand, to see if I can change it slightly. And then as I go through the point, to see if I can get rid of that click. So finding a better fit between the top of the arm and the shoulder socket, to see if I can get rid of that clicking or that clonking every time that the arm goes round. Reversing the circle, going the other way. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, and releasing down, relaxing the shoulder, relaxing the arm. Same thing with the left side. So I'm going to reach the arm in front of me, and then I'm just going to start drawing that circle, starting small, and then progressively see if I can make it a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger around. And then same as I did on the other side, just making sure that if the shoulder clicks, whenever I get close to the point where it clicks, I'm just going to play with the position of the arm, see if I can find a better fit that allows for a smoother movement, getting rid of that clicking noise. 3, 2, 1. Reversing the circle, going the other way. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back, relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the arms. So a little bit more movement into the shoulder joint too. I'm going to see if I can start getting the back a little bit more involved, or a little bit more movement into the back. I'm going to start with a little flexion. So if I'm seated, I don't need the hands, as I don't need to support the head. I'm just going to let the chin tuck to the chest. I'm going to try and round the upper back as much as I can. Think of a nice strong tension into the belly, and your upper back flexing as much as it possibly can. easing back into neutral, and then I'm going to round my way up again. So same as usual. So imagine the ball at the front of the chest. I'm going to try and take the shape of the ball, and then I'm just going to release back. If you're lying down, supporting the head, I'm going to tuck the chin, think of the back of the neck lengthening. I'm going to lift the head, the shoulders, curling up as high as I can. Nice stronger connection into the belly, and then I'm just going to let myself come down again. So curling it forward, rounding into the back, and then easing back. Making sure that if you're on the back, the head feels supported, so the neck doesn't need to strain to carry the weight of the head. So the weight of the head can comfortably sit on the hand, and then the hand is just carrying the head in the right position. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and releasing back, giving the head a gentle roll, relaxing the belly, releasing the shoulders, relaxing the back. From flexion, I'm going to go into a little extension. So if you're down on the back, the same as we did for the shoulder retraction and protraction, think of the shoulders hiding behind the rib cage. I'm going to send the chest up to the ceiling. I'm going to push down through the arms and see if I can encourage a nice lift into the top of the chest, and then I'm just going to let myself fall back and relax. So I'm going to try and extend and come back. If you're seated, think of the movement coming from your upper back, so making sure that the lower back is not loading, is not taking pressure. I'm going to push the breastbone forward. I'm going to send the shoulders back. I'm going to extend, and then I'm going to release back. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and releasing back, giving the shoulders a little bit of a roll. From extension, I'm going to move into rotation. So bring the arms to the front, clasping the hands together or keeping the hands apart, whichever it's easier. I'm going to start swinging the arms around. So I'm going to swing them to one side. I'm going to rotate that way, and then swing them to the other side, rotating the other way. Keeping the shoulders down, keeping the neck long if I'm seated. If you're lying down, every so often just to shuffle the shoulders down, and the tendency will be for the shoulders to come up towards the head, come up towards the ears. So I'm just going to roll from shoulder to shoulder, just gently massaging across the middle of the back. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back, returning the shoulders back to the middle, adjusting the shoulders and the rib cage. So there's a little bit more movement at the top of the body, the spine, the shoulder girdle, the shoulder joint. What I want now is to add a little resistance. So I'm going to grab a hold of the ball or the cushion, and then I'm going to place the cushion, place the ball between the side of the rib cage and the arm. It doesn't matter whether it's the right or the left, as we're going to be doing both. Then keeping the elbow bent, turn the palm to face towards you. The fingers are pointing up to the ceiling. And then maintaining the arm by your side, see if you can start squeezing the ball between the arm and the rib cage. As you squeeze the ball, the tendency will be for your hand, for your arm to turn in. So your fingers will start pointing across the front of the body. See if you can keep them pointing forward. So if I'm laying down, they'll be pointing towards the ceiling as I squeeze into the ball. If I'm seated up, they will point to the front of the room, not across the front of the chest. So as you're pushing into the ball, as you're squeezing into the ball, think of the shoulder dropping. I should be able to feel a little tension across the front of the chest and a little tension at the back of the shoulders. So the lats, the big muscle at the back, and then the pegs, so the big one at the front, working together to create that little squeeze, that little adduction. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Ease the tension, give the shoulder a little bit of a roll, placing the ball under the other side. So between the rib cage and the other arm, turn the palm to face it towards you, fingers pointing forward. And then I'm just going to squeeze into the ball. Think of the shoulder dropping away from the head as you press. And then same as on the other side. See if you can be aware of that gentle tension into the front of the chest and into the back of the shoulders. So the two muscles trying to draw the arm closer to the side of the rib cage. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Relaxing the arm, relaxing the shoulder. I'm going to bring the ball to the front, and then this time I'm going to place it right between the forearms, so right and left side. I'm going to keep the arms in front of me, and then imagine not to be clapping your hands, but to try and bring your forearms together, so your elbows and your wrists. So I'm going to push the forearms into the ball, and then I'm going to ease that pressure. So this time the tension, as I press into the cushion, as I press into the ball, should be mostly across the front of the chest. This is a little bit more load through there. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Relaxing the shoulders, releasing through the front of the chest, opening the arms nice and wide, making sure that the tension is not pulling my shoulders forward, is not creating tension across the front. And then I'm going to change the effort. I'm going to start moving down into the lower back and into the legs. So starting off into the lower back, I'm going to start with a little pelvic tilt. So whether I'm seated or laying down, think of the lower back moving. I'm going to tilt the pelvis back, so I'm going to tack the tailbone under, scooping in from the belly, and then I'm going to try and create a little curve into the lower back. Then I'm going to return my way back into neutral, and then I'm going to try again. So I'm going to tilt the pelvis and then ease that tilt. And then maintaining that gentle tilt to going forward and back. If you're sitting on the mat, if you're lying down on the mat, use the mat as a guidance. So every time that I tilt the pelvis, I want my lower back to flatten against the floor. And then as I release that tilt, I'm going to allow it to lift slightly. So I'm going to tilt and release that tilt. Think of that gentle tension again at the front of the belly. Your core sector tightening through the middle. The belly shortening, little compression through to create that little tilt. Same as usual, focusing on the transverse, focus on the deep abdominals, or if you rather focusing on the pelvic floor. So as you tilt, imagine to be lifting everything up from the front passage. So I'm going to draw everything up towards the inside of the body and then releasing back. So just gently massaging the back of the pelvis and the lower back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And easing back, returning the hips, returning the pelvis back into neutral, and then from flexion extension, I'm going to go into lateral flexion. I'm going to start hitching one hip up towards the rib cage, and then I'm going to hitch up the other side. So this time, instead of a forward and back movement, think of a little side to side movement. As if I'm laying down, the back of my pelvis is still flat against the floor, but it's gently tipping from side to side. So I'm going to pull my left hip towards the left side of the rib cage, so I can feel the left side of the waist shortening and tightening, the right side lengthening. Then I'm going to switch, I'm going to shorten the right, lengthen the left, and then I'm going to switch the other way. So it's creating a little tension through the obliques, the QL at the back. See if I can create movement into the back, so still just gently mobilizing the lumbar spine. If you're seated, imagine to be walking your seat up and down on the chair. So I'm going to pull up on one, ease back, and pull up on the other. Using the arms to help me stabilize the lift if I feel that I need a little support. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back, adjusting the hips as lower back hopefully feels a little bit looser. I'm going to focus on the hip joint. I'm going to start off with a little bit of resistance first. See if I can get the resistance to help me find the different areas, the different muscles. I'm going to place the pillow, place the ball between the knees. I'm going to shuffle the feet a little bit closer together. And then what I want is, with both legs at the same time, I'm going to press into the ball as if I was trying to pop it. Then I'm going to ease the pressure, and then I'm going to press again. So I'm going to press as hard as I can. And then I'm just going to release. Press as hard as I can. And release. So maintaining that pressure going on and off. As usual, compare the tension between the right and the left leg. I know that my right leg struggles a bit, or my left leg struggles a bit. I'm going to pay a little bit more attention to that side, just to see if I can find a better connection to the inside of that leg. Using the hand to guide the leg if I feel that it doesn't know where to go, it doesn't feel the movement. I'm just going to use the hand to guide it into the movement. And then I'm just going to ease back. 5, 4, 3, 2, and then on the next one, I'm going to squeeze into the ball. I'm going to hold the pressure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Release, try again. Squeeze as hard as you can. Hold the pressure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Release one more time. Squeeze and hold the pressure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and release. Relaxing the legs, so releasing through the inner thigh, and then I'm going to work in reverse, so work on the outside of the leg. So I'm going to grab hold of my belt, my strap, and my band. If it's elastic, I don't need to worry because the band's stretching. If it's a strap, if it's a belt, so it doesn't give, keep it reasonably loose so that I've got a little space to actually be able to move the legs out. So I'm going to either tie the band around the legs, or if I can't tie it, I'm just going to hold it with my arms. Just make sure that you hold it steady so you're not letting go. So I'm going to keep a steady pressure on the band on the strap, and then I'm going to start pushing out into the band this time. So I'm going to push hard, and then I'm just going to ease that pressure. Same as I did for the reverse, using the hands to guide the movement. If I feel that one leg is not responding as well, one leg is not moving much, or I can't feel that leg very well today, so I need a little bit of guidance. I need to almost like teach the leg where to go. And then just aware of the tension into the side of the hips, into the side of the legs. A nice strong center, helping me to stabilize the pelvis. The back feels relaxed. I'm not gripping, I'm not tensing into the back. 5. I'm not clenching the jaw, I'm not stiffening the neck. 4. 3. 2. And then on the next one, I'm going to open, I'm going to hold it there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to close, and then again, I'm going to open and then hold that tension. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ease the tension. One last time. Push out into the strap. Hold that tension. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And releasing back. Relaxing the hips, so relaxing the legs. And then I'm going to focus on the front of the hip. If you're lying down, putting the hand onto the thigh is going to make you overreach with the arm and kind of like tense the shoulder. So use the ball or the pillow between the thigh and the hand to kind of like give yourself a little bit more space. So the shoulder is a little bit more relaxed now. I don't need to overreach. If you're seated, the hand is closer to the leg because of that 90-degree, pretty much 90-degree of hip flexion. So I can just put the hand directly onto the leg, or I can still use the ball if I want to. And then think of the leg pushing into the ball and the hand pushing into the ball. So I'm going to try and squeeze the ball between my thigh and my hand, and then I'm going to release. So it's only a little squeeze, it's only a little tension, but see if you can be aware of the front of the hip twitching, tensing, switching on to create that tension. So with the leg, I want to go up, and then with the hand, I'm going to push down. So I'm going to resist the lift of the leg. So squashing the ball and then releasing, squeezing and releasing. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and releasing back, relaxing the hip, relaxing the leg, switching to the other side. So I'm going to place the ball between the hand and the thigh, and then I'm going to squeeze the ball between the thigh and the hand, and then I'm just going to release. So I'm going to press and let go, press and let go. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and releasing back, relaxing the hip, releasing that leg, so I can feel a little bit more connection into the front of the hip. I'm going to try and connect into the back of the hip. But each time to create resistance, I'm just going to use my body weight. So if you're seated, bringing the feet just a little bit closer to the chair. I'm going to come forward into the legs and then squeezing with the back of the hips. So think of taking your hips off the chest. I'm going to try and come up slightly, and then I'm just going to ease back down again. Trying to come up slightly and then ease back down again. If you're lying down, I'm going to bridge my way up. So squeezing with the back of the hips, I'm going to drive the hips up into extension. And then I'm going to release back down again. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and releasing back. Relaxing the hips or releasing the legs. There's a little bit more activation at the back of the hip. But 2, I'm going to keep that left leg a little bit out of the way. If I'm laying down, I'm going to pick up the right leg, and then using the hand, using the strap to guide. If I feel a little support, I'm just going to start to circling around. So think of a little movement. See if you can picture the leg like a spoon and the hips like a bowl. I want to turn my spoon into the bowl as if I was trying to massage the back of the hip, the back of the pelvis as the leg goes round. If you're seated, you might need a support as the leg feels a bit heavier. I might use my hand to help me create that little circular movement. 3, 2, 1, Releasing that leg, trying the other side. So switching the band around with the other leg, using the hands if you need to, and then going round. Just a little movement, just feeling the leg moving into the hip socket. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and releasing back. Relaxing the hip, but releasing the leg. If you're laying down, rolling over onto your side, and in your own time, pushing yourself up into sitting. Find a comfortable position for the legs. There's something that is going to allow you to sit without any discomfort into the hips or into the knees. Leaning back into the arms, leaning back against the wall, against the sofa, just as something that is not going to slide off in case. And then focusing on the front of the body. See if you can create space at the front of the body. So same as we did in the warm-up, I'm going to push the breastbone forward. I'm going to extend the through. I'm going to roll the shoulders back. And this time I'm going to try and look forward. I'm going to try and look up, look behind. Stretching down the front of the throat. And then I'm going to release. I'm going to let the chin come down to the chest, lengthening the back of the neck. Let the upper back round. Let the lower back round, coming forward as far as I feel I can go. And then back up again. I'm curling all the way back. Extending through, shoulders back, the chest forward, looking up, looking back. And then releasing, grounding and rolling down towards the mat. Last time. Extending up, shoulders back, lifting through the chest, lifting to the neck, looking up, looking back. And then releasing, coming back to the front. One hand to the belly, one hand to the back,